and database. Create statement or prepared statement or callable statement as per the requirement. Next one is write and execute SQL query. Then lastly, close the resources. These many things are existed here. Clear or not? Right. Out of all these things, already we started with what there. First one, load and register the driver. Step already we completed. Am I right? Now, majorly, a few points are given there. Driver is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems and its implementation class are provided by all the database vendors in their database software. So first we have to make available the driver to our JDBC application so that we need to set class path environment variable. C:/ RIGIL 1221XE or something else up to OJDBC 11.jar file that we have to set in a class path environment variable. But if you use type on driver or else maybe if you use IDEs like Eclipse, then we have to add OJDBC 11.jar file to the build path. How to add that? I will show in the programming there. Don't worry for it. Right, sir. But if you want to use type on driver, not required to set class path environment variable. Why? Because already it is existed in the same class path. It is existed already in the same Java software. If you want to use type on driver in JDBC application, then we must configure ODBC driver. There are given some process here. Go for the control panel. Then after that, what next there? Select the system and security. Select administrative tools. Double click on ODBC data sources 64-bit. Select user DSN. Click on add button. Something else. Overall. Next one. Two cases are available. One is for Oracle. Then how to set DSN name. And for MySQL, how to set DSN. Both are given in the diagram here in the document now. Next one after that. When driver class is available in JDB's applications, we have to load and register driver class. For this, we have to use the method. For this method here, we have to use their for name method. We have to use from java.lang.class. There we have provided what their string driver class that we have to provide. Next one example I have given there class.for name of sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver for type 1 driver provided by Sun Microsystems. Class.for name of Oracle.jdbc.Oracle driver. This is for the sake of type 4 driver provided by Oracle. Class.for name of com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver provided by like what there MySQL database. No. When we execute the above instruction, JVM will perform some actions. What actions there? JVM will take this driver class name. JVM will search for it at current location at Java predefined library and at the locations referred by class path environment variable. If the driver.class file is not available at all three locations there we are able to get java.lang.class not found exception. If driver class.class file is available at either of these three locations, no, immediately JVM will load this driver class batch code to the memory. At the time of loading driver class batch code to the memory, a static block will be executed. Insert the static block, driver manager.register driver method will be executed. By the execution of the driver manager.register driver method only, our JDBC driver will be activated between Java application and database. Next one, type 1 driver is available up to JDK 1.7 only, not available from JDK 1.8 version. Load and register driver step is optional when we use JDK 1.8 version, JDBC 3.0 version, or Oracle 11XE, MySQL 5.8. In all these versions, that what the load and register driver step is optional, not mandatory to use that. Load and register driver step is optional even in the case of what the type 1 driver also. Altogether, maybe overall in JDBC, load and register driver step is optional. In the case if you prepare JDBC application without class.for name method, that means without load and register the driver step explicitly, then JVM will load and register the driver at the time of establish the connection between Java application and database. The moment when we establish a connection between Java application and database, no, by the time only the driver will be loaded and registered. Right, sir. Then I given some internal coding part, how the driver is going to be loaded there, then all the points are given. This is class, public class driver manager. This is what their Sun Microsystem provided driver manager class. Inside this, public static void register driver method is available. Inside this, some logic to register the driver is existed here. Logic to activate the driver. Okay, next one. Interface. Driver is an interface provided by whom? Sun Microsystems. Public class Oracle driver implements driver. This is provided by whom? Oracle. Right, sir. Inside this, there is a static block. Inside the static block, what is available there? Driver manager dot register driver is available. Now, this is JDBC application. The developer has prepared that. Public static void main string array args throws SQL exception. Class dot for name method. Oracle.jdbc.Oracle driver. Let's understand what's going to be happening. When we execute this program, JDBC app, JVM will execute main method. Inside the main method, JVM will execute what their class.forName method. In class.forName method, what we provided here, Oracle.jdbc. What next one here? Oracle driver. Whenever we are calling this class.forName method, JVM will load this driver class bytecode to the memory. Immediately driver will go to the JDBC. That means JVM will go to the Oracle driver class. It's trying to load Oracle driver class bytecode to the memory. At the time of loading this Oracle driver class bytecode to the memory, which one will be executed? You know, static block will be executed. Inside the static block, what we are calling there, no, driver manager dot register driver method will be called. Driver manager dot register driver method will be called. When we call this register driver method, automatically program will go to like what there, driver manager class. There it will call register driver method, where what is going to be executed here, logic to register the driver is going to be executed. Is it got or not? This is internal code is available. Step by step here we can understand. Come again, what exactly the code I provided, can now tell me. When we execute JDBC application, JVM will execute main method. Inside this main method, JVM will call what method there? forName method. What's the purpose of forName method? What's the purpose of forName method? Loading this prospect class or not? Now JVM will search for this Oracle driver class. Oracle driver class is available or not available? As existed. When Oracle driver class is existed here, JVM is loading Oracle driver class bytecode to the memory. When JVM is loading Oracle driver class bytecode to the memory, automatically which part will be executed there? Static block will be executed. We know already this fundamental point. At the time of loading class bytecode to the memory, automatically which part will be executed there? Static block will be executed. Static block is executing. Part of the static block, what it is executing there? Driver manager dot register driver method is executing. Driver manager dot register driver method is called in essence. Flow of execution will go to driver manager class. Inside this register driver method is called. Inside this, what is executed there? Logic to register the driver part will be executed. By the execution of this particular logic only, JDBC driver is activated between Java application and database in order to map Java representations with the database representations with the Java representations. Right, so this is a total scenario about like what there, how to load and register the driver in JDBC applications. And after that, what is the second step, sir? Now tell me. Establish a connection between Java application and database. And before that, I prepared one diagram also. When we complete step number 1, where we are in JDBC, this is the location of the JDBC. When we complete step number 1, this is the location of the JDBC. Observe carefully. So, driver is ready. JDBC driver is ready by registration of the driver. Then after that, what next one here we have to do there? Next point is, we have to establish the connection between Java application and database or not. See, after making ready the driver, we need to establish some communication or not. So here we have to establish the connection between Java application and database. We have to establish the connection between Java application and what their database. Connection here we have to establish. How we are able to establish the connection? Listen carefully. To establish the connection between Java application and database, here we have to use, there is a method. Connection con is equal to driver manager dot get a connection of JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon @ localhost colon 1521 colon xe comma database username comma database password. This is the instruction here we have to follow to establish connection here. Connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection of, this is the total URL, then system comma Durga. This total URL can be used to connect with the database engine, but database engine will connect with the database through what their username and password. That's why here we provided the total content. Get connection method from driver manager class. Okay, fine. Now what is this driver manager class here? What exactly the get connection method? To establish connection between Java application and database, we have to use the following method from java.sql.driver manager class. What is this method, sir? Now tell me. Public static connection, get connection method. Method name is what there? Get connection. Return type is what there? Connection. Which method it is? No, static method. Three parameters here we have to pass. What are the three parameters here we have to pass there? First one is string driver URL, string database username, string database password. Here, database username and database password both we provided at the time of installation of the database software or not. When we install database software, automatically we are providing username and password. That username and password here we have to provide. Next one, driver URL. What is this driver URL here? See, if you want to connect to two missions in the network, definitely URL is required or not. In the same way, to connect with the database from Java application, here what we required here, no, URL is required. So the driver URL here we have to provide. Where database username and password are the database username and password which we provided at the time of database installation. Where a driver URL is an URL to establish connection from Java application to database. Of course, Java application is available at current mission. Database may not be available at the same current mission. Database may be available at the same current mission or may be available at what mission there? Some other mission. Understand my point here? Database may be available at the same current mission or maybe at some other mission. So definitely we require URL to communicate with some other process, some other database now. That's why here we have to take what the URL here. That's the point here. Okay, fine. Now, how this URL is available actually? How the URL is existed for us now? If we observe this point here, URL is an unique URL for each and every driver. I'm telling to you, understand my point here. In JDBC, for every driver, a separate database driver class name is available and a separate URL is available. For each and every driver, separate URL and separate driver class name. Understand my point here? But URL will be in a particular syntax. What is the syntax of that URL there? Main protocol name, sub protocol name, then what next one here? Database name. Main protocol name, sub protocol name, and database name. Where main protocol name is what there? JDBC. In every driver URL, main protocol name is what there? JDBC. Observe carefully what I'm telling to you clearly now. Main protocol name is what there? JDBC. Alright, sir. Some examples are given there. Type 1 driver provided by Sun Microsystems. Driver class name is what there? Sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. Driver URL is what there? JDBC:odbc:, TSN name. Already in my system, I created TSN name with my name. Next one, type 4 driver provided by Arakill. Driver class name is what there? Arakill.jdbc.arakill driver. This is newer one. But Arakill.jdbc.driver.arakill driver, this is deprecated. It's available up to Arakill 8i version. Arakill 9i onwards, this driver class name here we have to use. Okay, driver URL is what there? This is a driver URL. JDBC:arakill:tin:@localhost:1521:exe. Next one, type 4 driver provided by MySQL. Driver class is what there? com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. And driver URL is what there? This total thing, JDBC:mysql/localhost:3306/DurgaDB. The data here we provided. Alright guys, all of you observe carefully what I'm telling you. Next point now. See, in the case of type 4 driver provided by Arakill, here we have used localhost or not? In the case of this MySQL database also we have used localhost or not? What is the meaning of this localhost now? My database software is installed in the same local machine where I'm running my JDBC program. From where I'm running my JDBC program, in which computer I'm running my JDBC program, my database software is also available in the same computer. So at local, my database is available. That's why I specified like what there? Localhost in the driver URL. For example, if my database software is available at some other computer, not at the same computer, available at some other computer, then we have to write some other computer IP address in place of localhost. Some other computer IP address we have to write. In the real-time application development, don't think about it. Database software is available in the same computer where my project is running, where my server-side program is running. No. The database server is available at some other location, at some other system. My application server and application is running at some other mission. Where if you want to communicate with my database there, in place of this local host, we have to write what their other system IP address. In which system we installed our database, no? That system IP address here we have to provide. It may be like 121.122.76.78, may be something else. The database software, something else we are able to write. Or maybe in some other cases, no, I'm not going to use my database in a local physical system there. I'm going to use my database in the cloud. In AWS, I prepared one database, Oracle database I've used it there in AWS cloud. Definitely, cloud instance is available for Oracle. The cloud instance IP address here we have to write. The cloud instance, cloud database instance is available. The cloud database instance IP address here we have to write. In place of this local host. So this is a change here we have to understand. So up to this part here we understood in like what there to establish a connection here. Guys, observe carefully what I have given, what I explained up to now. To establish connection between Java application and database, what method here we required? Get connection method is required from driver manager class. This get connection method contains three parameters. Second and third parameters are just username and password of the database. Third parameter is what the driver URL. The driver URL information are given. What's that information there? Where the driver URL is an URL to establish connection from Java application to database. Understand my point here now? So in JDBs, every driver will have its own driver class name and driver URL. Some examples I shown. What are the examples here? Type 1 driver provided by Sun Microsystem, driver class and driver URL. Type 4 driver provided by Oracle, driver class name and driver URL. Type 4 driver provided by MySQL, driver class name and driver URL. Like this I have given there. Got it or not? Alright, sir. Now I want to go for an example here. What is that example here I'm telling to you? Observe carefully. Now here, connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection of, first of all, JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon @ localhost colon 1521 colon xe comma, now get database username system comma Durga. This is that intersection here we have provided as an example. This is an intersection here we provided as an example. Yes, sir. All of you are getting clarity or not? Then what will happen internally? When JVM execute this particular intersection, then what will happen internally? Everybody understand this clearly now. When we execute this particular intersection, JVM will access get connection method. Inside the get connection method, JVM will call connect method. Connect method. Get connection method has a connect method call. Now JVM will go inside the connect method, it will execute the body implementation part. What that connect method will do? What that connect method is doing there internally? Observe carefully. Connect method internally, connect method will establish socket connection between Java application and database on the basis of the URL, driver URL, what we provided. As for the driver URL, what we provide as parameter to get connection method, connect method will establish socket connection between Java application and database. Connection will be established. With respect to this connection establishment, get connection method will return connection object. Get connection method will return what object there? Connection object. Come again, what is the point I am telling there? Later on I will show some pseudocode also, but try to understand it clearly. What is the point I am telling there? When we execute the above code, JVM will perform the following actions. What JVM is able to perform there, point number 1. Observe carefully, point number 1. JVM will access get connection method. Wherein get connection method JVM will access connect method. JVM will access what method there? Connect method. By the execution of connect method, JVM will create a socket connection between Java application and database. We'll establish socket connection between Java application and database. Database on the basis of provided URL. On the basis of the provided driver URL. There we are getting the driver URL or not? Maybe localhost in the sense in the current system. In place of localhost, if any IP address is available, then it will establish connection with the other computer respective database. Right, sir. Driver URL. Next one is with respect to the socket connection, get connection method will return connection object. Will return what object there? Connection object. Get connection method will create and return connection object. Will create and return what there? Connection object. Then immediately we have one important interview question. Try to understand this clearly. Guys, I'm asking one question to all of you. Now try to answer for it. Everybody, understand this now. Before going to ask this question here itself I want to provide one more point. Okay, anyway, understand it now. My question is very much clear. Try to understand it. In Java, in general, in Java applications, we are unable to create objects for interfaces. Am I right or not? Is it possible to create objects for interface in Java? Not possible. Not possible to create objects for interfaces in Java. In a JDBC API, java.sql.connection is an interface. Java.sql.connection is what there? Is an interface. Okay. How it is possible for get connection method to create object for java.sql.connection interface? In JDBC API, java.sql.connection is an interface for which we are unable to create objects. But how it is possible for get connection method to create an object for java.sql.connection interface? Guys, have you understand my question clearly? Simple. In a simple form, if you want to understand this question now, java.sql.connection is an interface to which how get connection method is creating an object. You know already in Java, objects are possible for only classes, not possible for interfaces. But how get connection method is able to create an object for what there? Connection interface. That is the question. I think as you understand the JDBC right from beginning, at least right from the definitions of the JDBC, there we have to give answer for this particular question. Now. It's very simple to give answer for this particular question. Again, I'm asking a question, try to understand it now. In a JDBC, java.sql.connection is an interface. But get connection method is creating object for the connection. For interfaces, we are unable to create the objects in Java. But how it is possible for get connection method to create object for connection interface? That's the question. Now I'm telling to you answer. Now try to understand, guys, clearly. In Java, there is a general terminology. What is the general terminology in Java? No. For example, I have an interface I. I have an interface I. Something is available inside this interface I. If I take a class A implements I, if I take a class A implements I, A small a is equal to new a, I small I is equal to a, whatever it may be. In general, people are going to say both are like what their I objects. In general, we used to say that implementation class objects are like what their interface objects. But really, we are not creating object for what their interface. We have created objects for what their only implementation classes now. But still, in the general terminology, in the general usage, what we used to say that object is nothing but what there with the interface name we used to call that object. I object, like this we are able to say. Say for example, I'm telling one more point. In iOS, you might be aware about it. In iOS, you might be aware about it. Class employee implements serializable. Implements what there? Serializable. We have taken it. Now in general, employee objects are normal employee objects only. But as we are implementing serializable, what we used to say that employee object is nothing but serializable object. That object is called as what there? Serializable object. That is in general terminology in Java. When we create an object for implementation class, we used to say that interface object, interface name object, serializable object, externalizable object, comparable object, comparator object. Like this, we used to say general terminology. Remember this point in our mind. Okay, fine. Next term. Let's move on to the point here. I'm giving answer for this particular question. All of you guys observe carefully. Let's move on to the point here. You know already one point. What is that point here? JDBC is an abstraction. That is a collection of interfaces. Yes, sir, am I right or not? JDBC is what there? An abstraction. What is the meaning of this abstraction here? No, only declarative part, only declaration part. That's what there. What is the meaning of this declaration part? No, the collection of what there? Interfaces. Collection of what there? Interfaces. JDBC is an abstraction, that is the collection of interfaces provided by Sun Microsystems. Am I right or not? Provided by Sun Microsystems. And what next one then? Now tell me, you want to tell me? And its implementation classes and its implementation was provided by all the database vendors. Am I right or not? JDBC implementations are provided by all the database vendors. Understand it clearly. JDBC is an abstraction provided by Sun Microsystems and its implementation was provided by all the database vendors. Alright. Now similarly, what is the point I'm telling to you? Java.sql connection is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems as part of JDBC abstraction. Observe carefully, guys, what I'm telling you know. Java.sql.connection is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems as part of JDBC abstraction. Got my point or not? As part of what there? JDBC abstraction. Okay, but its implementation classes are provided by almost all the database vendors as part of their own JDBC abstraction implementation. Come again, what's the point I'm telling there? Java.sql connection is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems as part of JDBC abstraction. But its implementation class are provided by almost all the database vendors as part of their own JDBC abstraction implementation. Now coming to the get connection method. What get connection method is doing there? Get connection method is not creating object for connection interface directly. Get connection method is not creating object for connection interface directly. Get connection method is creating object for the implementation class of the connection interface. You know already, connection is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems and its implementation class are provided by database vendors. Now here, get connection method is creating object for the implementation class of the connection interface. Implementation class of what there? Connection interface. Implementation class of connection interface, that object is created, that object reference value is written from the get connection method. But whenever implementation class object is created for the connection interface, in general we used to say that implementation class object is nothing but connection object. But really object is not created for connection interface. Object is created for what? The implementation class. In general, when we create an object for implementation class, we used to say that object is of interface, but not interface object. That object is of type what there? Interface. I get my point or not? So because of that reason, what I am telling to you, get connection method in JDBC applications, get connection method is not creating object for connection interface directly. Okay, then what get connection method is doing there? Get connection method is creating object for the implementation class of the java.sql connection interface. That's it. Observe carefully. So get connection method is creating object for the implementation class of the java.sql connection interface. And get connection method is returning that connection interfaces implementation class object. That's it, guys. Now this is that internal content here we have to understand. Let me show some pseudocode. By that we are able to get some clarity. All of you observe carefully. Now I want to write some coding part. Now try to understand this clearly. First of all here, public interface connection. Guys, now tell me, this is provided by whom? Sun Microsystems. Am I right or not? This connection interface is provided by Sun Microsystems. Public class Aragil connection, implements connection. This is provided by whom? Aragil. Guys, all of you are following or not? Interface is provided by Sun Microsystems and implementation class is provided by what there? Aragil vendor, right? Next one, after that. Public class driver manager this is provided by Sun Microsystems only. Inside this driver manager, public static connection, get connection of 3 parameters here we are able to take. Then inside this it will call connect method. Connect method will be executed by this connection will be established there. And after that, internally what happened there? Connection con is equal to new Oracle connection. Object is created for what there? Implementation class, but reference variable is declared for what there? Connection interface. Return con semicolon. This is driver manager class. Now here in JDBC application, what is going to be happen here? Observe carefully. Class JDBC app, class JDBC app. Now tell me guys, all of you know, this is provided by whom? Our program, JDBC application. Then inside this, what we are able to do there? Public static void main string array aux. Then inside this, what we are able to do there? Observe carefully. Some lines of code is available, not required for us. Connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection of 3 parameters here we have to pass. The 3 parameters are nothing but what there? Oracle driver URL, Oracle database username, Oracle database password. Now observe carefully. Flow of execution I am telling to you. When we execute this JDBC app, when we execute main method, JVM will come to what there? Driver manager dot get connection method. So directly JVM will go to what there? Driver manager class where get connection method is available. Inside the get connection method, what it is executed there? Connect method is executed. Am I right or not? By this socket connection will be established between Java application and database. After that, JVM will execute what there? Connection con is equal to new Oracle connection. Connection con is equal to new Oracle connection. Object is created for what, sir? Oracle connection. It is an implementation class of the connection interface or not? And it is provided by whom? Oracle or not? Then here we are getting like what there? Connection here we are getting. Then we return what there? Con reference variable. Con reference variable is what there? Connection reference variable. Connection reference variable holds what there? Implementation class object. Oracle connection object. Reference is available. If you are using MySQL implementation, MySQL database, no. Something else, new MySQL connection may be existed. If you are using DB2 database, no. New DB2 connection may be, the predefined class might be existed. That is totally abstraction. That is totally depending on the implementation. That means what database vendor we have used. If we use Oracle connection. If we use MySQL connection. If we use like what the DB2 database, no, DB2 connection, that what we are having clear. Sir, all of you get my point or not? So this is what exactly the meaning of like what there, the JDBC application. Okay, now try to understand it, no? Again, I'm telling to you, connection object is written. The same connection object difference value will be assigned to what there? Con variable. From where we are calling this method, so that we are getting that connection difference to this particular one. Now, in general, now the general terminology is what there? Con is a reference variable of connection. It holds the Oracle connection object reference. This is originality. But in general, we used to say con is what there? Connection object. Con is what there? Connection object. In general, we used to say what there? Connection object. Not more than this. Now, in this way, we are able to get like what there? Connection objects in a JDBC application. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my points now? Again, I'm asking question to you now. Try to answer for it. Java.sql.connection is an interface for which we are unable to create objects in Java. But how it is possible for get connection method to create and return connection object? Interviewer will ask this question there. Then what is your answer for this question now? What is the answer for this question now? In general, JDBC is an abstraction. There is a collection of interfaces which are provided by Sun Microsystems, and its implementation class are provided by all the database vendors. This is in general point here. Next one is what then after that. Java.sql.connection is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems, part of the JDBC abstraction, and its implementation class are provided by database vendors. This is a concept, available concept. Coming to the get connection method. Get connection method has to return connection object only, but it is not creating object for connection interface. It has created object for what their implementation class of the connection interface. That implementation object reference value is written from get connection method. That implementation class object reference value is stored in a con reference variable in JDBC application. So in general terminology, we used to say con is a connection object, but really object is not created for what their connection interface. Internally, object is created for what their implementation class of the connection interface. Implementation class are provided by whom? Database vendors. And these implementation class are provided for what interfaces there? Sun Microsystems provided interfaces. That's it. In that way, connection object is created in JDBC applications. So all of you are following these points now? I'm not getting confirmation there. Whenever I'm repeating the points, no, you're not giving even any information there. All of you are okay with these concepts? Clear? How this connection object is created? All the points are okay? This is one of the important question. Definitely, if interviewer wants to ask the questions in JDBC, definitely this question here we can expect. All right, that's okay, fine. This is completed. Next one, after that, after understanding this, then what is the third step here now? Up to now 2 steps here we completed in the JDBC architecture. First one is load and register the driver, and second one is what there? Establish a connection between Java application and database that we completed. Next one, what next one here now? I'm asking one question there now, try to understand this simple example here. For example, I want to move from Hyderabad to Mumbai. Simple example, Hyderabad to Mumbai, I want to go. I want to move. What I required, basically what I required here? First of all, if you want to move from Hyderabad to Mumbai, first of all, say for example, I want to take some bus or something else now. First of all, I have to move to the bus station or not? If it is a train, railway station or not? Answer my point. That railway station will communicate with what there to the Mumbai. Get my point? My house is not communicated with what there Mumbai directly. Railway station or bus station will have communication with what there Mumbai. So I must go to the railway station, or I must go to the bus station, or I must go for what there airport. Am I right or not? So this bus station or railway station or airport is nothing but JDBC driver. My program is not communicating with the database directly. My program is giving information to the driver. Driver is communicating with what the database site. Okay, clear. Okay, I went to the bus station or railway station somewhere else now. Then what next? What I require? If it is a bus now, I need to have a clean road between the bus station to Mumbai or not? Road is required or not? If it is a train, track is required or not? If it is airline, then air communication is required or not? So that is nothing but connection. That road, or maybe what next one here? Track, maybe what there? Connection. Okay. If it is a bus. If it is a bus, I went to the bus stand. I've seen the total road there. I stand in front of the bus station. Then what I require now? Can I walk from Hyderabad to Mumbai directly through along with that road? Not possible. Then what I have to do? I need to get some carriage or not? What I required here? I required some carrier or not? Carrier in the sense like what? I need bus or not? How I'm going to travel from Hyderabad to Mumbai? By walk it's not possible. Definitely I need one carrier or not? The carrier is what there? A bus. Bus is required. If I sit inside the bus, then bus can carry me from Hyderabad to Mumbai. If it is a rail, if it is a through train, no, I have to sit inside the train, then train will carry me. I get my point or not? So here in JDBC, up to now what I completed here in JDBC, right sir, 1 minute. Right sir. In JDBC, up to now what I completed here, I make ready bus station. Next one, road also we cleared. or maybe if it's a railway station now, I make ready my railway station. Tracks are also ready between Hyderabad to Mumbai. Then only the remaining part is what there? I need a vehicle. What vehicle I required? If it is through road, bus I required. If it is through track, what I required? No, train I required. If it is like air communication, what I required here? Plane is required. Am I right or not? Aeroplane is required. Am I right or not? So that bus or maybe that train or maybe that flight, these are nothing but statement object. Either statement or prepared statement or what next one there? Callable statements. These things here we require. They are nothing but carriers from Java program to database and database to Java program. Example, for our easy understanding, I'm telling you. Anyway, the point here, what I'm telling to you, the next point in JDBC, after establish the connection between Java application and database, the next point is like what there? We have to create the statement object or a prepared statement object or a callable statement object depending on our application requirement. Right. So third one is what there? We have to create either statement or prepared statement or callable statement depending on the application requirement. Statement ST is equal to con dot create statement. Statement ST is equal to con dot create statement. By using this statement, object is ready. That means bus is ready. Then what next one here? We have to sit inside the bus. Then if we click on start button, bus will carry. Okay, now here also be statement object here we created. So similarly, in our JDBC, the next step, third step, step number 3 is what there? Create statement or prepared statement or callable statement as per the requirement. You want to take either bus or a train or a flight depending on your requirement. I want to move from Hyderabad to Mumbai, or maybe I want to move from Amirpet to Kukatpally, for example. I can take bus. For example, I want to move from Hyderabad to Mumbai, best train. I want to move from Hyderabad to America. Definitely I have to go for what? Flight, by flight. So depending on the situation, what we are going to take, that is as per our requirement only we are going to take it. I cannot say I want to travel from India to America. I may not go for what their bus. I may not go for what their train. I must go for what their flight only. The situation is demanding like it. Similarly, what we are going to use in our JDBC application, if it is statement or if it is a prepared statement or if it is a callable statement, depends on your requirement. That is totally depending on what there? Our requirement. It is not on the basis of our view. It is depending on the requirement. But here the question is where we are going to use statement and where we are going to use prepared statement and where we are going to use callable statement, that we have to understand the situations clearly. There we are going to have some definitions clear, right? So don't worry, then I'll explain that remaining part tomorrow. Then tomorrow I will complete max statement, prepared statement, callable statement. Then after that, write and execute SQL queries. All the remaining parts are going to be completed tomorrow, guys. If I complete the total remaining part in the steps now, next onwards we are going to see one by one all programs there. All JDBC programs, almost all. And if I start that programming part now, continuously, continuously programs only we are going to get. One small theoretical part, then program. Theoretical part, program. Theoretical part, program. Simple one line theory, then one program separate. In that way, we are going to prepare our applications. But don't miss the tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class is very, very important. If any of your friends are missing for this class now, then tomorrow is mandatory class. How to execute SQL queries in JDBC program. That part I am going to explain there with internal concepts now. So without failure, try to attend for these classes, right? Thank you. Thanks a lot. We'll meet on tomorrow. It is first person.